So you bought a new truck or SUV and thinking about trying overlanding? Well, I'll show you how to get started without all the fancy gear.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey, I'm Rex from Hella Adventures, and I found out about overlanding by accident after I bought my Jeep in 2015 and scrolled through social media. Like many of you, I had already gone camping in state and national parks, but I took it one step further when I got into backpacking areas around Northern California. When you're camping in the backcountry, you need to be self-reliant on food, water, and shelter. There are no facilities or camp hosts to help you out if you forget something. To me, overlanding is sort of like backpacking, but instead of packing your gear in a 40-liter pack, you go off the beaten path with a packed rig instead. In this video, I'll give you the 6 most crucial tips on how you can start safely overlanding today without any fancy gear. In its simplest form, overlanding is a combination of vehicle-based travel to remote areas while being completely self-reliant. So first things first, you need an appropriate vehicle. On a trip to Racetrack Playa in Death Valley, I had to help a couple driving a Lexus SUV running street tires. I helped them change out to their skinny spare, and they were able to get back on pavement, but because the sharp rocks on the trail could have easily slashed another sidewall, I convinced them to turn around. You don't want to be out in the backcountry with 2 flat tires and no plan. To make sure you're not in a situation like this, be realistic of the capabilities of your vehicle. Whether you have a 2-wheel drive sedan, a van, crossover, or a stock 4x4, you can start overlanding now, as long as you do your research and find well-maintained dirt roads to campsites suited for your vehicle. Just make sure you're running at least all-terrain tires and carry a full-size spare. Now that you have your adventure vehicle, tip number 2 is plan where to go and don't go alone. You need to plan out where you want to go, how long it'll take you to get there, and how much fuel you need. Keep in mind that you'll be using more fuel on dirt roads with elevation gain than you ever would driving on the freeway. A good starting off point is to research nearby BLM or National Forest land for a place to camp depending on your vehicle's capabilities. Just remember, cell phone service probably won't be available, so use apps that work off-grid like Gaia GPS, Onyx Off-Road, or Google Maps. If you're going to use Google Maps though, make sure you download an offline map of the area you're exploring and double check it's navigating you on the trail you plan to go on. The last thing you want is to end up on a steep shelf road you weren't prepared for because Google Maps took you on the shortest path possible. Along with planning your destination and fuel, planning who to go with is important. It goes without saying that you want to go off-roading with people who you enjoy being around, but safety-wise, it's important that you go with at least one other vehicle. Having another vehicle on an overlanding trip, especially if you're just getting started, is invaluable. With them there, you can rest assured knowing that if something unexpected happens, like needing to jumpstart a battery or running out of fuel, you'll be safe. Since you'll be off the grid without the grocery store available, my third tip for you is to bring enough food and water. You don't need an expensive fridge with a dual battery system and solar panels to enjoy a good meal at camp. I bring with me an Arctic cooler that easily keeps my food refrigerated for 4 days, but you can enjoy the backcountry right now with a basic cooler from your local Target or Walmart. You can plan simple meals like canned soups, hot dogs, or burgers, or have yourself a nice medium rare ribeye with all the fixins. It's all up to you. Cooking at camp is actually one of the things that I look forward to every time. There's a certain satisfaction I get enjoying a meal that just hits the spot when I'm outdoors. I personally pack a 2-burner Coleman stove that I've had for years. And yes, I do make ribeye steak dinners at camp. In fact, it's been a tradition of mine for the last night of my camping trips. Hey, I'd love to know what your favorite camp meals are. Let me know in the comments below. Also plan to bring enough water for your trip. The general rule is to pack a gallon of water per person per day. That'll be enough for your basic needs like staying hydrated, cooking, washing dishes, and cleaning up after yourself. Keep in mind, you'll have to bring enough water with you if you're bringing pets or you're expecting hotter temperatures. It could be as easy as buying a couple of 2-gallon water jugs from your grocery store or having one of these Scepter water cans I picked up on Amazon. If you're scrolling through social media researching overlanding, you'll eventually come across rooftop tents, which brings me to my fourth tip: bring shelter. Although I think rooftop tents are really dope, it's not necessary when starting out. You probably already have gone camping and have a tent packed away in your garage or closet somewhere, so just bring that. If you have foldable rear seats and you have enough space in your rig, you can also sleep inside your vehicle. I've exclusively used ground tents and have 3 that I use for overlanding trips. If I'm going solo and constantly on the go, I'll use a 2-person backpacking tent. If it's a family trip, I've brought a 4-person backpacking tent. The advantages of backpacking tents is that they're light, they pack really small, and they retain a lot of heat because of less dead space, and it's easy to set up and take down. But the disadvantage is you can't stand up. It has gotten more cramped as we have become a family of 4 plus a dog, so we've recently upgraded to a more traditional ground tent where you can stretch your legs for a bit and have more room to change clothes. This right here is the 4-person backpacking tent that I use. It's from Big Agnes. It packs really small and I can easily carry this thing with one hand. On the other hand, this right here is a full-size 4-person tent, also by Big Agnes. And I'll bring this along if the whole family is off adventuring with me. The tent comes in a backpack and it makes it easier to lug around your campsite. And this is appropriately called the bunkhouse, and it's significantly heavier than my other one. The cool thing about this one is that I can fully stand up in the middle of the tent, and for comparison, I am 5'10". Don't forget to bring a sleeping bag and sleeping pad. Make sure the temperature rating for your sleeping bag is appropriate for the weather you're expecting. Keep in mind that if you're out in higher elevations, it'll be a lot cooler than what you'll be used to. But check with your favorite weather apps for the latest updates on the nearest zip code or campground. Since I do most of my trips from spring to fall, I use this Mummy sleeping bag rated for 15 degrees. I don't expect to do any snow camping anytime soon, but I may need an upgrade if I do. Did I mention you'll be off the grid yet? Well, how the heck are you gonna take care of business after dinner? Sure, you might have a vault toilet nearby if you're at a popular spot, but it'll probably be hella gross, so no thanks. So tip 5, be prepared with bathroom essentials. Depending on where you're camping, you could use a shovel or a trowel to dig a cat hole if you're 200 feet away from a water source. Pro tip, make your cat hole in advance in case you need to take a big shit. And check with the local ranger station for any regulations on burying or packing out your toilet paper. We want to minimize the impact we have on the environment. Keep in mind, if you're in the desert or the ground is rock hard, digging a cat hole won't be possible. In this case, the easiest solution is to get a portable toilet and kit. I like the Clean Waste toilet and their Go Anywhere toilet kit. The kit comes with a large bag that you can secure on the toilet. It has poo powder inside, which solidifies and deodorizes your waste, and it comes with individual toilet paper and hand wipes. These individual kits do get expensive, so since we go camping a lot, I actually buy the camp bathroom bags and poo powder in bulk. Being prepared for bathroom breaks makes life way easier in the backcountry. Although I love off-roading, the truth is it does come with its inherent dangers. That said, my 6th tip is to have recovery gear and safety equipment. In the event that you find yourself on a really rugged trail and you get a second flat tire, bring along a tire repair kit just like this. It's one of the first pieces of gear that I bought when I went on my first overlanding trip. A good piece of advice is to pack your tire kit under your seat or somewhere accessible. The last thing you want is to have to look for this buried somewhere in your cargo area, losing precious time, which can cause further damage to your tire, or yet, lose a bead. And speaking of tires, bring along something to air down your tires and to air them back up with an air compressor. For a better ride and to help protect your tire from jagged rocks, air down your tires to a lower PSI. The most basic way to air down is to use a pen, or better yet, use the back of your pencil tire gauge. When you're back on the road, air your tires back up using your air compressor. I started out with a Smeatonville compressor rated for 2.4 CFM, which worked great when I had stock mud tires. But I have since upgraded to the Smeatonville compressor rated for 5.65 CFM. They have no problem airing up 35-inch mud tires on the trail. What's also convenient about this is it's portable and I can pack it on another vehicle if necessary. I also recommend bringing a tow strap like this. It's good to have in case you're stuck and need a little tug from another vehicle, or you come across a rig that needs your help to get pulled out. Make sure you know where your vehicle's recovery points are and use a D-ring or a soft shackle to secure your strap properly. If you like this video and all the tips that have helped me on my first trips, click the subscribe button to follow us for more recent updates. I've also put links below for some of the gear that I described in this video. If you want to learn more about overlanding, check out these videos here and here. See you on the next one.